Rashid, 38, financial analyst, Toa Payoh. 12 years in banking, 2 kids in primary school, an HDB mortgage with 11 years left. On a Tuesday in March, his manager called him into a meeting room he had never been called into before. By Wednesday, he was clearing his desk. His company was restructuring. The role was not being filled. 57 other people received the same call that week. Rashid had done everything right. Good degree, stable employer, consistent performance reviews. He had never seriously thought about building a second income because nothing in his life had suggested he needed one. That Tuesday changed the calculation. In the second quarter of 2026, 4,500 Singaporeans were retrenched. That is the highest quarterly figure since the fourth quarter of 2020, when COVID-19 was actively destroying the economy. The number everyone is focused on is 2%, Singapore's unemployment rate, which has stayed stable. That number is real. It is also misleading. Because Singapore's unemployment rate tells you what proportion of people are looking for work right now. It does not tell you how quickly a stable job can disappear, or how prepared the person losing it actually is. Here is what the Ministry of Manpower's data actually shows. In 2025, 14,490 Singaporeans lost their jobs, up from 12,930 the year before. In the first half of 2026 alone, 8,330 more. Degree holders are being retrenched at a rate of 3.1 per 1,000 employees, the highest of any education group. The workers hit hardest are not the ones without qualifications. They are the ones with the good jobs. And the reason is not that companies are struggling. The reason is that companies are restructuring. According to MOM, 60 to 70% of retrenchments are classified as business reorganization, not cost-cutting during a downturn. This is a structural shift. Roles are being removed because the work is being done differently, not because the company is going under. That distinction matters enormously, because it means the retrenchment risk does not disappear when the economy recovers. It stays. Rashid's retrenchment package. 5 months of salary. He had been with the bank for 5 years, so the 1 month per year norm gave him $25,000. Add the Skills Future Job Seeker support, $6,000 over 6 months, roughly $1,000 a month from the government. His total buffer, 8 months of coverage, on paper. In reality, his monthly household expenses was $6,800. Mortgage, tuition, groceries, utilities, insurance. The $6,000 in Skills Future did not cover 1 month. The $25,000 covered roughly 3.5 months of actual life. The mean time for someone in Rashid's age group, 40 to 59, to find a new job is 2.7 months, according to MOM's March 2026 parliamentary reply. But that is the mean. Senior roles in financial services typically take 3 to 6 months. Some take longer. He was not in crisis. He was close enough to one that he could feel it. He found a new position at month 4. He was one of the 60.7% of retrenched residents who find work within 6 months. He was, by Singapore's own metrics, a success story. He told his wife that evening, they needed a second income before the next time. Now consider Mei Lin, 34, marketing manager, Tampines. Same age group, different position. 18 months ago, she started freelancing, content writing for regional tech companies, picked up through LinkedIn and FSM1's content platform. By last year, she was consistently earning $800 a month from it. Not a transformational number. Her salary was $5,200. The $800 felt like a bonus she put away. In February this year, her company announced a restructuring exercise. 40 roles across the APAC marketing function. She was on the list. Here is what $800 a month in a second income does not do. It does not replace a salary. Here is what it does do. It covers her e-Link card, her phone bill, her insurance premiums, and her share of the household utilities. Every month, automatically, without a job. She continued freelancing through the 3 months between announcement and official last day. She was actively interviewing. She did not touch her emergency savings once during that period because the 800 covered her personal fixed costs. She accepted a new role 2 weeks before her last day. The 800 did not save her financially. It saved her psychologically. It meant that every interview was an opportunity, not desperation. The difference between those two emotional states is visible to hiring managers. Her action 18 months ago. She opened a Fiverr profile and listed marketing strategy consulting. $300 for her first project. She reinvested it into a course on content strategy. By month 4, she had 3 recurring clients. The third force accelerating all of this is the one everyone is anxious about and nobody can fully measure: artificial intelligence. In 2026, 30% of workers in Singapore reported anxiety that AI would replace their job or current role, according to NTUC's survey on economic sentiments. 49% of Singapore workers expected their job to be affected by restructuring, automation, or cost-cutting this year, 1.3 times the global average of 37%, according to Morgan McKinley's Workplace Trends 2026 report. These are not unfounded fears. The Ministry of Manpower's own data shows that the sectors with the highest retrenchments in 2026, information and communications, financial services, professional services, are the exact sectors where AI adoption is fastest. MOM does not break retrenchments down by cause, but when restructuring accounts for 60 to 70% of all layoffs, and those layoffs are concentrated in knowledge-intensive sectors, the picture is clear enough. 23% of corporate layoff announcements in Q1 2026 globally explicitly cited AI automation in SEC filings, up from 14% in Q4 2025. Amazon cut 16,000 corporate employees in January, with CEO Andy Jassy explicitly linking the reductions to AI agent deployment across the business. The roles being eliminated first are analyst roles, coordination roles, junior professional roles, the career entry points that a generation of Singaporeans built their careers on. MOM's response: government will monitor. Reskilling programs are available. The Enterprise Workforce Transformation Package has $400 million allocated. This is not a dismissal of government support. Skills Future is genuinely useful. But a reskilling program is a response to job loss, not protection against it. And it does not pay next month's mortgage while you are retraining. There is a third fact behind the urgency that is easier to miss because it moves slowly. 60% of workers in Singapore live paycheck to paycheck. That is the Asia Pacific's highest rate, higher than Indonesia, higher than China, higher than Japan. The Asia Pacific average is 48%. Singapore is 12 points above it. This is not because Singaporeans earn poorly. The median salary in 2025 was $5,775 a month. It is because the structural cost of life in Singapore, housing, food, utilities, education, has risen faster than wages for the bottom and middle of the income distribution. Hawker centre food, Singapore's most celebrated affordable option, has risen 18 to 22% since 2021. Housing inflation in mature estates, 7 to 9% in 2025. GST went up to 9% in 2024 and is applied to everything. Sun Life's Financial Resilience Index 2026, which surveyed 1,000 Singaporeans, found that 81% said rising costs have made it harder to cover monthly expenses. 95% cited groceries, 94% cited utilities. The median Singapore household earns enough to live comfortably. The median Singapore household also has almost nothing left when the salary stops. 1 month of job loss is a budget problem. 3 months is a financial crisis. 6 months changes everything. Kevin is 29, software developer, Jurong East. He has not been retrenched. He expects he will not be retrenched this year. He also started building a second income stream 14 months ago, not because of fear, but because of arithmetic. He put $300 a month into a diversified S-REIT and DBS portfolio through an RSP on FSM1, Capital Land Ascenders REIT at 5.5% yield, DBS at 4.3%, Parkway Life REIT. 3 positions, reinvested distributions quarterly. His portfolio today, 37,000 Singapore dollars. Annual distributions, approximately $2,000. Monthly, $167. That does not cover his rent. It covers his phone bill, his Easy Link card, and his Netflix. Every month, without him doing anything. Here is the number that matters. At his current contribution rate, he reaches $66,000 in approximately 2 more years. At that point, at 5.5% yield, his monthly distributions match his monthly RSP contribution. The portfolio starts covering its own growth. He is not financially independent. He is building the infrastructure of a life that does not collapse if one employer makes one decision on one Tuesday. His action 14 months ago, he logged into FSM1, set up a $300 monthly RSP, selected 3 S-REITs, and enabled automatic dividend reinvestment. It took 22 minutes. Singapore investors carry a structural advantage here that most people do not fully appreciate. 0 withholding tax on locally sourced dividends. Every dollar paid by CICT, CLR, or DBS arrives in full. In the United States, non-residents pay 30% tax on dividends. Australia applies up to 47%. Singapore applies 0. Every distribution Kevin receives is entirely his. 3 people, 3 different relationships with the same risk. Rashid discovered the risk when it arrived. He survived because the timing was manageable. He is now building a second income from the other side of the experience. Mei Lin built the second income before it mattered. When it mattered, it was not enough to replace her salary, but it was enough to change how she interviewed for the next one. Kevin is building before he has any evidence that he needs to. He understands something the data confirms. The question in Singapore in 2026 is not whether your primary income is at risk. It is how prepared you are for the month it stops. A second income in Singapore does not need to replace your salary to be valuable. It needs to do one of 3 things. Cover your fixed costs during a gap, the bills that arrive regardless of whether you are employed. Reduce the desperation in your job search, because desperation is visible and costs you negotiating leverage. Or become the foundation of something larger, the way Kevin's $300 monthly RSP becomes a portfolio that generates distributions whether he works or not. The minimum viable second income for most Singaporeans is not $5,000 a month. It is the amount that covers your non-negotiable monthly bills: insurance, utilities, transport, phone. For most people, that is between $300 and $800. That is the number that separates a job loss from a financial emergency. The time to build that number is not after the Tuesday meeting. It is the Tuesday before it. Which of the 3 positions are you closest to right now? Write it in the comments. I will tell you exactly what the right first move is based on where you are. If this video changed how you think about your single source of income, subscribe. Next, the 5 tipping points after which your wealth in Singapore starts growing on its own, and how to recognize which one you are closest to.